Hello, everybody. Surprise! We are here this afternoon. I think I forgot to set up an event for this, so some people might be like, what's going on? And it's just a bunch of awesome. It's just a bunch of awesome today. So you can go ahead and block out the rest of your day and just be in Gold Getters and have a pretty awesome time is pretty much what's going on. So I am here with Kayla, and what we're going to talk about is Go for Gold and what it's actually doing for her, okay? So as I always say on these videos, I don't want to tell you how a course works. I want for you to hear it from people that are actually taking it. That matters more to me, and I believe matters more to anybody else also. So Kayla, do you want to, I'm just looking for the video here. Do you want to go ahead and share with folks how long you've been with Young Living and, like maybe any struggles you had pre Go for Gold?
Oh my God, I can't even remember when I joined Young Living. I want to say like 4 years.
All right.
I originally joined for my daughter.
Yeah.
Just to get products for her, and then we started using them for the whole family. I didn't really do the business side. I mean, I kind of did, but not really. It wasn't that important. Yeah. I kind of started doing the business side a little bit with my mom and sister, and it seemed like we tried a whole bunch of things, but nothing really stuck. It kind of seemed like we were doing circles. Oh, sorry, my phone's going off.
Oh, don't worry about it. You're fine.
We did vendor events, which I'm not that person, I found out at all.
I can't hang out behind a table for that long. That's what I know about myself.
I did a lot of circles because I just couldn't sit there.
I wouldn't be able to either.
I can talk to people one-on-one, but to put a group at me is not okay. I don't do that. And
you're the one that, didn't you pass out?
Yes.
She did her first, it was your first Facebook Live, wasn't it?
Yep.
And she passed out on the Facebook Live. You're so
like,
cute.
I saw the number popping up of people watching, and I was like, nope, I don't care.
Funny.
So I kind of put that pressure on my mom and sister to do them, and that's not really right.
Yeah.
But it seemed like a lot of people will be really interested and say like, I'm coming. Yes, I can't wait to learn more. And we would put the time into setting up a class, and the whole time I'm thinking about doing this class, and my heart's racing, and I was freaking out, and then no one would show up. Yeah. And it was, even if I put the reminders out and they would message back like, yeah, definitely going to be there, no one would show up. And I was like, I don't even like doing this, and it's not working. My sister's actually the one who found you and added me to the Goal Getters, and I was like, huh. And I love my husband, don't get me wrong. But
I love that
he
disclaimer.
was like, sorry, but he's very laid back. Nothing stresses him, and if it does, then it's a big deal. That means I've probably already had a heart attack. But I was like, hey, do you mind if I buy this program and just kind of look at it? And he was like, I mean, Kayla, you've bought them all, so why not? Maybe this one will be different. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I know you can do it, but you're not comfortable, so you're not going to be able to do it until you are.
Right.
I was like, okay. So I started watching the modules with my sister, and then things got a little crazy, so we kind of split off and started watching them on our own, because we each bought it, but we were doing it together to keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
And I got stuck on my bat signal. Like, I was like, I don't know, like, what do people come to me for? And then some of the things I was like, I don't really want to be known for that. That doesn't make me happy. I don't want to talk about that all day.
Yeah.
And my husband was actually with the kids in the living room, and he heard you talking, and he was like, what did she just say? And I was like, what do you mean? And he came in, and it was actually one of your little pods about the 20 and 30.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, okay, I'm in. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, he sat the kids down, got them comfortable, and he was like, start at number 1. And he actually sat down for the next 4 days as soon as he got off work and watched all of the modules. And he's taking little notes and doing little things. And he was like, okay, I'm in. And I was like, what do you mean you're in? He was like, well, I'm going to help you get a couple people. And we're going to get a couple people under your belt. I'm going to help you. And then you're going to sign me up. And we're going to build
Oh
2
my
teams.
g-
And I was
oh
just
my
kind of like,
gosh.
what? And he was like, yeah. And
You
then
got
the
your
next,
first builder in the living room.
yep. And then the next day, he called me from work and was like, hey, you know how Pete is always like, I get a little tickle in my throat. And he's like, hey, you need to take this. Hey, you need to take this, or different things like that. And you're always like, you should let him try something. And I actually ended up giving him Valor at one point.
Ooh.
For Christmas, we gave him a whole bottle of Valor.
Oh, nice.
And then the next day after we went through all the modules, he texted me and was like, hey, you have a meeting with Pete. You should make sure you feel presentable. He'll be over in 2 days. And I was like, what? I've never even met Pete. And he was like, doesn't matter. He knows you. And he signed up.
What?
Yep.
You
And
signed Pete up?
I signed Pete up, and I was like, holy crap, I can do this. Like, I can feel comfortable in my house and just do different things. And he actually sat down and ended up watching the builders video that you'd made, because we had started that.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
was like, I don't do Facebook. I don't do Instagram. I don't do any of that. But I don't know if I'm interested in the building, but I'm interested in building your team because you love it.
Ooh.
And I was like, I don't want to, you have a name, like you have an account, you should build your own.
Yeah.
And that's helping me. And he was like, well, I'll think about it. And then I sent a whole kit with my husband to work because I went into his office, and he works for Colorado College.
Can I just say really quick, like how laid back you are about all of these are like massive wins. I don't know if I get overexcited.
My heart's pounding.
Oh,
So
I love
can't
you
show
so much. But like, this is so, I just want to like honor you in this moment because you did it. You did the thing. And I'm just so excited for you. And I'm not trying to give you a heart attack, but like,
No,
I
you're
just
fine.
am excited for you. I'm sorry. He works for Colorado College.
So he works for Colorado College, and he works security. And he does he's the investigator for the college. And he was like, I just feel like all these stinky people come in here. And I was like, okay. And so I sent a starter kit with him because I was like, well, that's like advertisement for me when people come in, and it's good for you when all the sick students come in.
Yeah.
And his boss keeps poking her head in and like smelling.
Yes.
And smelling. And she was like, hey, Pete told me to come in here and smell today. And just, I have 3 people now interested just because he's been diffusing different things in the office. And everybody, like, he's had people from other buildings come now. And I'm like, ah, yes, come smell them.
Yes. Oh my word. That's crazy.
So I'm starting to see the pickup, but that's not, I was kind of looking for that. But I was more looking for something that I could do and feel comfortable, because that's a big thing. If you're passing out or you're like up in a class, like, people are like, why would I go with you?
Yeah, well, and it's not sustainable. If it's something that if it scares the snot out of you to to the point of where you pass out, that's not physically sustainable for you to keep, because you're not going to continue to put yourself in a position where you're going to pass out. Like, you're just not going to do that, right? So that's not sustainable for you. So yeah, we all need to find the ways that are sustainable to us. The really cool thing is that you can do vendor events. If people like vendor events, they can do that. If they like classes, they can do that. Those are all just ways to bring leads in. Go for Gold is the system they need to go through to get nurtured into members. How you bring a lead in and how you love doing that is awesome. Do it however you want to do it. But whenever they come in, what are they coming into? They need to come into a system or else you're going to lose them. That's why, like, people do a bunch of classes and they're like, yeah, I had a bunch of people at my classes. Well, how many people signed up? And then eventually how many people signed up? Because a lot of what I see is that either people sign up at the class or they don't sign up, period. And that's because there's not a system to put them through. And then also another thing that I've recently noted is that the system that you put them through actually can, if you want to do classes, can encourage people to go to classes that you're wanting them to go to, if you're wanting to do that. So like there are people, no, and I know you're not, but there are some people that like it. And I just want them to realize that like the system can work for literally anything. It's a system. It's you plug and play. What is your, did you, whenever you were getting Go for Gold, were you ever on the, so I remember you said that your husband was like, yeah, go ahead and, you know, get it. Cause you know, whatever you were doing wasn't working at the time. And, were you ever on the fence? And if you were on the fence, what did it take to get you off the fence? What was that thing that was like, okay, fine, I'll do it?
I mean, I decided to build because, I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I want to do fun things. We travel. I wanted to put some money forward. I mean, my husband's never made me feel like I had to, but I kept looking at different things and I was like, well, I know it's really not, that's not a lot of money. I've definitely spent more than that, but I was kind of like, but I've already spent that money. Maybe I just need to like crack down and just make that work.
Oh
If
man,
that makes sense.
I think a lot of people feel that way. Yeah.
Like maybe I'm not doing enough or I'm not putting enough time but then it started in the other ear, like, your kids need you. You've already put this much time in it. You're just stressing about it. And that's
Yeah.
not good for everybody else in the house.
Right. Yeah.
The thing that kind of pushed me, honestly, mostly was my sister. She was like, everybody's different. Everybody's different. And she was like, I've been watching this page and we could do this at home. And I was like, I can do this at home.
Yes.
And she was
Right?
like, yeah, if I'm reading everything right, she's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I was like, okay, like, sure. And she wrote me and was like, I really think you need to watch it. And I was like, okay. And she was like, well, I guess it's your choice if you want to watch it, but I think it'll work. And I was like, you know, my bank account at this point, it's like the end of the month where everything's kind of like, do
Right.
I really need that right now? Do I
Should I have
really?
lunch or that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one night it was really weird. I was sitting with my kids and we were talking about our trip. And my daughter was like, we're going to Hawaii. Because I've been and
Oh, I
my
love
two kids and
Hawaii.
husband hasn't been. And
Oh
so
man.
I like to go and live like a local. I
Yes.
feel like you
Yeah.
get more of an experience from that.
Yeah.
And my daughter's like, I really want to do, I can't even remember what she said.
Uh-huh.
I was sitting there thinking, like, can we afford that? Like, because they're, you know, can we? And I was like, I'm going to buy that class because by the time I go to Hawaii, this system's going to work or a combination of them are going to work. And we're going to do that. And we're not going to feel anything paying for it.
There it
I
is.
have a year to put money away and make this happen because toys don't matter, is kind of what, I
They
don't know. You
really
always want to
don't.
give your kids what you didn't have. And I feel like as a first time mom at that point, it was like, I'm going to give you everything that you ask for.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's kind of like we have this room that's seriously just full of toys and my
Yes.
kids don't even go in there.
Right. Yeah. I
And I was,
know. I know.
so me and my husband were like, we're going to start taking a trip every other year to somewhere that we want our kids to see a different kind of motion, like how that life is. So we're going to go to Europe and we're going to go here and we're going to teach them that toys don't really matter.
Right.
That's
Stuff.
the goal. So
Stuff
I was
doesn't
like,
matter.
I'm going to do this. And I sat down and I watched like 3 modules, like right from the beginning, which I don't recommend that.
Yeah, that's not, we
Don't do
don't
that.
endorse doing that.
Yeah, don't do that at all.
Don't binge like Netflix, you guys. It's not a freaking
Because,
sitcom.
well, I stayed up late, so it was quiet. And I'm writing all these notes. And like at the 3rd module, I just shut the computer and was like, oh my God, it's so late. I need to go to bed. And I just laid in bed and was like thinking, oh my God, can I do this? Can I do this? And I don't know my bat signal, and I don't know this, and I don't know this. And I got up the next morning and didn't even want to open my computer because I was like, nope,
Yep.
too
Yeah.
much. I can't do that. It's too much.
Yep.
And it took me like 3 more days. And I was like, I'm going to start at the beginning. And I watched the first one and I went to click the second one and I was like, nope, don't do it. And I thought about the first one all day.
Yes.
And
That's how it's supposed to go.
I did little notes, like I was picking my daughter up from school and I wrote a little note, and I did this and wrote a little note. And then at the end of the day, I combined them and I was like, holy crap, I did the whole first one. And I don't feel like my heart's going to beat out of my chest.
Right. We've got them for those of you that haven't gotten Go for Gold, or those of you that maybe have and binge watched everything. It's set up the way that it's set up on purpose. You literally have to mark a section as complete before you can even move to the next section. So that's like, make sure it's complete before you mark that it's complete, because it all builds on itself, and you need to make sure you're building as you go, or else you're going to be like paralyzed, because you're going to think you need to do a whole bunch of stuff and then it's just not going to work right. So okay, let me see. All right, so what would you say is, well, I mean, we kind of already talked about what the biggest thing is that has changed your business so far. I mean, confidence. Yeah, that's what systems do for you guys, is gives you confidence. In case you weren't aware, in case you thought that this was only a business building thing, it's not. What it is something that gives you like swagger. It gives you confidence. It gives you like, I know how to do this. I know that. How many people were afraid to sign up their first person because you were like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I don't even know. I don't know what I don't know. Right. Like, there's just so much stuff. And what this does is gives you total confidence in the process of, bringing them in, telling them what to do, all of this stuff.
I think if possible, I would try and get your partner, if you have a partner, or even your best friend, to sit down and watch it with you, even if it takes weeks, just because now my husband pushes me out of my comfort zone, not in like an aggressive way.
Right.
But we went to Noodles, and the lady behind the counter, I put it as my win of the week the other day. She was like, you smell really good. What are you wearing? And I just kind of like froze up because the attention was on me. That's just who I am. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's oils. And then I walked away and sat down, and he was like, why didn't you tell her what it was? Yeah. Why didn't you give her a card? Why didn't you tell her about your Facebook thing so she could kind of chill out and look and say like, maybe this is for me? And I was like, no, just eat your food and let's leave.
Eat your food. Shut up.
And he was like, no. And he was like, you're going to go talk to her. We're going to sit here all day. And I was like, no. And he's like, fine, I'll go talk to her. But you should have pulled up your big girl panties, walked over there, handed her a card, and left with your head held high. Yeah. And I was like, no. And he's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then that instant thing brought out my competitive side. Ooh. Like, you're not doing this for me. And I walked up and talked to her, and we left. And 2 days later, she texted me. And I was like, holy crap, that took like 30 seconds of courage to walk over there. And maybe she'll sign up and maybe she won't, but it gave me the chance.
Right. Exactly. I love that. Mike is the same way for me. He pushes me. I call him my business manager because he pushes me. He says, okay, what are we doing today? X, Y, and Z. It's like when people are like, how do you get so much stuff done? It's because I don't even think about it, right? Like he organizes my time and he's like, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. And then it just happens. But it's great when we have our partners that do that stuff for us, because that's why we're together, you know, like that's why you guys magnetize to each other. It's why we all magnetize to each other, is to be able to help each other out and sort of tumble each other's stones, or polish each other's stones, if that makes sense. You know, the tumbling polishes.
Oh, my daughter loves her rock shiner.
Oh yeah, those noisy things, right?
You put it in the garage. That's what you
right.
do.
Oh man. Okay, and what would you say to anybody that's sitting on the fence right now, that's on the fence thinking like, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? What would you just say to that person?
I mean, we're a family of 4, and if we go out and eat, like actually eat, it's going to be about at least $50, if not more. But that's something that you do, and then it's done, and you don't think twice about it. So I think you should take the time to invest in yourself. And if it works, then that's great, which I think it will work. But if not, I mean, you got something out of it. You've at least got one nugget out of it to carry with you, whereas a night out is just gone.
Right. Oh, that's good. That's good. Bet on yourself. Invest in yourself. Exactly. Yeah. And it's just one dinner, guys. It's just one dinner. It'll come around again tomorrow. You'll eat dinner again tomorrow, and it's going to be fine. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Kayla. I appreciate you coming on. I will be back later on to talk with Bob. We're doing our Upgrade Your Life. Woo! And we're actually going to be talking about how to have a thriving respiratory system and a thriving lungs, if you know what I'm saying. So we're going to do some things today, which is going to be fun. But okay, well, everybody have an awesome day. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much, Kayla. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, you guys.
Bye.